All right, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys remember, Schedule 1 kind of blew the doors down the AAA gaming industry by becoming one of the biggest success stories by far for the year. And it really made everybody take a double look at indie games because it was made essentially by one person. And it really just completely blew everybody away. And it got to the point where it had well over 400,000 concurrent players on Steam. The game blew up massively. People were loving the game, and it sold millions upon millions of copies. And it was a true indie story success. Well, now it looks like we potentially have another one. This game I have not heard about, and we're going to react to the trailer together to see what the game is about. It might not be for me. It might be for me, who knows? But we're never going to know unless we look at it. The game apparently is called Peak, and Peak developers have reacted to them selling well over 1 million copies after supposedly suffering a lot of burnout from making bigger games for bigger studios, and says that the realization that smaller projects like this can work has set our studio in a new direction. And you got to wonder, was it games like Schedule 1, or was it games similar to that came out before that really inspired this studio to maybe scale down, tighten the scope a little bit, and focus and put out a game like this instead of something that's just too big and just, quite frankly, they weren't able to really support from the ground up. So let's get into this article. But of course, before we do, special shout out to the 90,600 of you that are subscribed to the channel right now. And if you're a part of the 50% that are not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So this game, Peak, released on Steam. And if you look at the charts, it released on Steam 2 days ago. And not 2 days ago, I apologize. It hit the all-time peak of 102,799 2 days ago. Absolutely insane. It released on the 16th of June, and this game has been seeing success after success after success. I mean, look at this number. These numbers are, when do you ever see the mountain go up like this? The last time we saw that was with Schedule 1. We haven't seen that since. Now, the game has tapered off for the most part, but it's estimated to go back up again because it's trending upward due to the good word of mouth. Now, I figure let's take a look at this trailer and see what this game is about before we actually do anything related to, breaking it down and seeing what these developers actually had to say. So let's take a look and let's see what's going on here. Here we go. Oh, damn.
I don't know if they're going to let you on the plane with no shoes on.
Okay, everybody? I'm ready. Okay, Nick? Yeah.
Oh, man, this is one of those games where you got to help each other, but then you can fall off the cliff.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Much less. No.
Oh!
No. I'll carry you.
Yo, that's hilarious.
Whoa. Where do you need me to move it? Okay, there you go. Careful, Kristen.
Oh!
What's happening?
Yo, this looks so cool, actually.
Oh, right. Oh, okay, you guys are going down. All my hunger.
This is definitely one of those games that you got to play with friends or something like that, because you're basically trying to help each other, I guess, get to the top of whatever peak you're trying to reach. But there's a lot of dangers along the way. There's strategies and different items you can utilize to get to the top. And if you fall, well, you get knocked out, and then you got to get carried, it looks like. So I guess we'll see what happens with this.
What? Wait.
Yeah, this is definitely a streamer game for sure. So I could see why this game hit a lot of success, because people are obviously streaming this. They're probably super excited. If we were to look at the charts right now really quick and take a look at what the Steam numbers are for Twitch viewership, you can clearly see people are watching this game like crazy. 152,000 people watching on Twitch as an all-time peak, and that was 6 days ago. It's got a 24-hour peak of 112,000, so it's maintaining viewership better than Assassin's Creed Shadows. Think about that for a second. It's got 31,481 people watching the game right now. It's in the #1 3 top sellers for all of Steam, and it's got an estimated basically 939,000 to 1.14 million units sold. Chances are it's a little bit past 1 million because they announced 1 million units sold. So this game is doing very, very well. I can see why it has a lot of hype behind it, and I can see why people are interested in it. But the main reason why I want to cover it is because it brings us back to the conversation that we always have when it comes to gaming, which is AAA studios are becoming less and less relevant. Obviously, AAA studios are putting out mega blockbuster games, and the sad thing is that a lot of them are just not doing well. The budgets are way too big. There is way too much bloat in the AAA industry. This is why the layoffs are so massive. The layoffs have continued to sweep the industry for almost 2 years now. It decimated the industry in 2024 with over 24,000 people fired. And now you have thousands of people fired in 2025, and the year is barely halfway through. It's only going to get worse because this bloat has been around for a while. And it's not something you could just get rid of at the snap of a finger. A lot of these people were DEI hires. They got hired under certain circumstances, and they were told they were very special. And now when you try to fire them, well, needless to say, they're not exactly emotionally stable. So when you go to fire them, it's one big, massive scene. And now you got to take that and times that by thousands of developers that are like that, and you're going to have a problem. So let's read about this. Now, I don't know what particular games they worked on prior. It has a quote that says, "We want to mostly make smaller projects moving forward," which I think they should, "with clearer scopes and shorter development times." I think they should. There aren't very many games in the industry successes that look like Peak, the comedic co-op climber, developed as a collaboration between indie studios AgroCrap and Landfall during a Maniac month-long jam in Korean Airbnb. Less than a week wait, what? During a manic month-long game jam in a Korean Airbnb. They made this game in a month? Are you serious? Less than a week after launch, it's already made over a million sales. For lead developers at both studios, Peak is a clear lesson. Shorter is often better, especially when you're dealing with burnout. Before AgroCrab and Landfall dispatched their devs to Korea for their game jam collab, the studios had been iterating on Peak's core concept for months. AgroCrab creative director Kaylin Rashby said that the game initially looked much closer to an open-world survival thing, but Landfall collaborators urged the team to tighten its scope. If this game was made in 1 month, that's insane. That is insane. Think about the return on investment. The ROI on that is crazy. If you spend 1 month with a few developers just making, like, tightening the scope and making it happen, even though the concept was in his mind for months prior to that, still, it's insane, man. If they put this together that quickly, that's wild. That is wild. Yeah, it's proof that passion will absolutely carry you through. You guys are 100% right. Between then and February, we had a ton of conversations online refining the concept. Wilhelm and the other Landfallers pushed super hard to focus on a single tight core mechanic. The first-person climbing, Raspberry Pollock said, "It was clearly the right idea. We ended up scaling the island down dramatically from our original plans and spent more of our limited time developing ways for scouts to collaborate or mess with each other in interesting ways on their way up the mountain." Oh, so that's going to make it even more fun. If you can actually mess with other people in the game, like I said earlier in the video, I wonder if you could push people off the cliff or do something that's going to make them fall or something like that. That would be a lot of fun. The smaller scale was a first for AgroCrab, but head of community marketing Paige Wilson said it already informed how the studio will be working in the future. Another Crab's Treasure was a 3+ year development and marketing cycle, which, by the way, I played Another Crab's Treasure. Very good game. Very, very good game. Had a lot of fun with it. It's basically Crab Souls. I think you guys will have a lot of fun with that game if you like Souls-like games. Our first title, Going Under, was similar. Needless to say, Peak felt like a speed run of that entire process, but it was something we really needed. Wilson said, "We suffered a lot of burnout from working on the previous project for so long, and doing a smaller scope project gave us a good refresh that gave us our spark back. The realization that smaller projects like this can work has set our studio in a new direction that we're all really excited about." So at this point, I think it's pretty clear that they're probably never going to go back to bigger projects at this point. They're going to try to make the next big, smaller game. And at this point, even if they fail, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because they have such a small budget. They have such a small development time, only 1 month or so development time. They're not really going to lose out on much if they fail. So that means they could take even more risks if they really wanted to, or if they get a success and they can expand upon it over time, which I think they should do. I think they should solidify, the people that they have now playing Peak. I think if they solidify it, make the experience even better, it's going to bring even more people in, more streamers in. People are going to be talking about it. They're going to be playing with their friends. That's the great thing about these co-op games, because for every one person you could convince to play, they're going to try to convince 3 other people to play with them so they can have 4-player co-op, which is fantastic. So this needs to continue. And again, this is just another felting for the AAA industry. You're going to have a lot of people say, well, who cares? It's an indie game. They care, because they spent very little money making this game, and they sold over 1 million copies at $5 a pop. I'll let you guys do the math at that point of how much money they made. These people that decided to get together for a month and make it happen, think about how much money they made from a month's investment time by simply tightening their scope, making a smaller but better game, and sticking true to it. Think about how much money they made, and you'll realize just how quickly that should actually matter for a lot of people. So congratulations to this studio and these developers. That's great to see. I might check out this game. Who knows? I guess we'll find out and see. But at this point, this game is doing very well with or without me. And considering it's at over 102,000 on Steam and rising every time I refresh this picture, yeah, I think it's safe to say it's going to continue to do very well. So we'll see what this what this game does in the future. But you guys can let me know in the comments down below. Are you playing this game? And if you are, do you think it's a good game? Do you think this is where the gaming industry is going? Because I do. I think this is where the gaming industry is going for the next few years until AAA eventually fixes itself, because right now it's trying to. It's working its way through a lot of the nonsense that it put itself in for the last few years. So I think the industry is absolutely going to AA and indie. But you guys can let me know in the comments whether or not you agree with that. And if you do or don't, just let me know why. Special shout out to the 90,600 plus that are subscribed to the channel. And if you're a part of the 50% that aren't, consider hitting that subscribe button today. And I'll see you guys on the next one.